Hello folks, my name is Nando and welcome back to the garage. Today, what are we doing today? Yes, today we are changing the fork seals on my Yamaha TDM 900. If you're interested, stay with me. I've got the fork legs out. What we need to do next is move the cap bolts, drain the oil. Let me get a container. Now bear in mind that there's a spring in here. So when you undo this, you want to just apply some pressure. Otherwise you might get hit in the face by the spring. Trust me, I've done that. If you don't have the service manual for your bike, I highly recommend you lay the parts out in the order you take them out. That way you know in what order they need to go back in together, if that makes sense. I do have the manual and with the parts list and everything, so I'm not gonna fuss over that. Now, the way you take this fork apart, there's a bolt in the end of the fork leg which holds the damper rod assembly in. Basically there's a bolt going through here, through there, and that bolts into the damper rod assembly. Now in order to remove that bolt, you need a long T-handle which goes down and holds the damper rod and prevents it from rotating together with the bolt. Now the problem is I don't have the T-handle, but there's a quick and easy way, which is the wrong way of doing it, but I'm going to show you anyway. So basically what I do is I've got the 8mm Allen key, goes in here. And I know many of you guys will be screaming at the screen, why am I doing this? What I'm doing is, I'm undoing it with the impact gun. And that's it. I don't suggest you do this, but as a last resort, it works. Just gonna pop out the dust cap. There we go. I've got a new one, so that goes in the bin. And now in here, there's a circlip. Well, circlip-ish, which we need to take out. Wow. This is rusty as fuck. Come on, focus. Right, there we go. So yeah, that's well rusted, so I'll have to buy new ones. The next step is to get the bloody thing apart. So basically what you need to do is just give it a couple of good whacks. There we go. Now I'm going to use brake cleaner and clean out all these parts here. Right. Now I'm a bit concerned about, come on, you see these corrosion marks on the fork leg. They're quite prominent. Thankfully, the fork doesn't travel that far up. There's your bottom yoke, and the fork travel is somewhere about up to there. But I do need to do something about this. I'm not entirely sure what. I'm gonna clean it up as best as I can. I've cleaned all the parts. This is a couple of days later, by the way. The reason being is I had to order some parts. First of all, one of the retainer clips for the fork seals is rusty as fuck. I mean, literally, it's that rusty. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is I fucked up one of the inner tube bushings when removing them. I showed you earlier the corrosion marks on the fork tube. When I removed this bushing, I've scratched the hell out of this. Let's see if I can get a good shot on that. Hopefully you can see. So yeah, I had to order new seal retainer clips and new inner tube bushings. They got delivered today, so we can. I've already assembled one of the fork legs. I couldn't be asked to film it, but it's the same for both, so I'm gonna do this one. First, what I'm gonna do is, what I've done is actually, as you see here, you see the groove, that's where the retainer clip sits. That was all rusty, so I used a screwdriver, scraped all the rust out. You want to do that because if it's rusty inside, this groove gets shallow and the retaining clip might not sit properly. When you hit a big bump and your fork compresses, the pressure increases inside and it might blow your seal out. It's going to go all over your brakes and all that shit, so you don't want that. Keep it nice and clean, make sure the clip seats properly. Now we got to assemble this. What we need to do is slide on the new inner tube bushing onto the fork tube, and the way we do that is, it even shows you in the manual. Let me see if I can find that page. Yeah, over here. See, it's just to put a piece of plastic bag over the end of the tube so you don't damage the seal. So I'm going to do just that. Just going to slide that over. Lubricate that as well. And I'm going to use molybdenum grease for the bushing. So that should just slides on there. There's this washer which needs to go on. Goes down there. And now the seal. Yeah, this can be a bit tricky. You want to be quite gentle with this. You don't want to damage the lip of the seal. Right. So that goes on there like that. Now the damper rod. Right, so it's come out the other end. So let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. Now we can put this all back together, just to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. All the parts laid out here. Yep. All good. Now you want to be really, really gentle. That's it. I'm gonna try and put this in. Right, now that's spinning around. Again, I don't suggest you do this. I don't like doing this, but I don't have the T-handle to counter the damping rod, so I'm gonna tighten it with the impact gun. I know it says 30 Newton meters. This is not a very powerful gun anyway, and I'm just going to do bang bang and that's it. That's it, we're done. Just going to confirm that with the Allen key. Yep, that's done. Now we can drive the seal down. You need this fork seal driver tool to drive the seal down. You can hear it change pitch when the seal bottoms out. Ah, fuck me, caught my finger. Now what we need to do is fill it with oil. Now, let me see, the manual says 0.507 litres, which is half a litre, plus 7 mil. I don't have an accurate enough measuring jug to measure out 0.507, so I'm going to put half a litre in and measure the actual oil level. And it needs to be 133 millimeters from the top of the inner tube, with the tube fully compressed. So I've got measured out half a litre here. I'm going to pour this in. So I filled up the fork with half a litre of oil. Now what we need to do is to bleed out the air, and the way we do that, we just pull on the fork and then compress and pull and compress. Do this a couple of times. Ah, bollocks, one important thing. We forgot to put back the fork seal retainer clip. Ah, that's so important. Right. Ah, you idiot. I nearly forgot. Okay, and screwdriver. So I'm just going to push it down until it clicks into place. Yep, all good there. And where is it? There we are. And the dust seal as well. The reason that the retaining clip got so rusty on the other fork leg was because my dust seals were cracked, and I reckon the water made itself through the dust seal and it was sitting in there corroding away. Now it says in the manual, after you've bled the fork, to wait 10 minutes for all the air bubbles to clear before you measure the oil level. So we are going to wait 10 minutes, and then we'll be back and go ahead and measure it. Right, so hopefully the air bubbles have cleared by now, and what we need to do is measure the oil level with the fork fully compressed and the spring out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the vernier caliper. It says here 133 millimeters. So I'm going to set this. Focus, you bastard. To just that 133. So that's set there, and I'm going to slide it into the fork like that. Can you see that? There's a small bead of oil on the tip of it. It might be, I don't know, 1.5 millimeters too high, but that'll do for us, for our purposes. Now we can go ahead and put the spring back in. This is a progressive spring, as you can see. The coils are much tighter on the top and looser on the bottom. It says in the manual to put them with the tight coils facing upwards. If you ask me, it doesn't make any difference. Yes, we also need to check if the spring is in spec. 308 millimeters is the minimum spec. Let me get a ruler and just double check this spring. Right, so I know this is a bit of an overkill, this ruler. Oh, you can't bloody see that. Right. Well, this is not going to be very accurate, but yeah, this is well above 310, so this is still in spec. So we are good to put this back. So you don't want to drop it, because then you're going to splash a hell of a lot of oil out if you just drop it in. It sits properly. Now there's one washer. The spacer. The other spacer on top. And the damper rod bollocks, the damping adjuster and preload and all that shite. I'll see if I can find the center of it. Yeah, this is a bit fiddly. Nope. Yep, gotcha. tighten this down by hand, and we are gonna torque it down to spec once we get the fork legs back on the bike. So that's that. I hope you enjoyed that, folks. If you did, then give this video a thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss out on future videos like this, then make sure you subscribe to my channel over here, and take care, and I'll see you in a bit.